this is Rainbow Harmony, here to help you find balance and peace to live a more colorful life. And today we're going to be talking about how to manifest true love. So if you're in the market for a soulmate, if you're single and you're sick of just having meaningless flings with people, or you just feel like there's nothing coming your way in love, or you just are sick of having relationship after relationship and nothing just feels right to you, or if you're recently out of a relationship and you're realizing this time around you really want to have someone that just feels very meaningful and that strong soulmate connection, then this is a talk for you, okay? So keep in mind, this is just my opinion. This is just what I have learned doing so many love readings and just through my own love journey. If you have anything you'd like to add to the discussion on how to attract true love, feel free to leave it below and we're gonna get started, okay? So this is 5 ways to attract true love. So, number one is you are already worthy. So realizing that you're already worthy, in order to attract true love, it's not really like you have to do a bunch of stuff, like you have to be perfect, like you have to have everything figured out. You're already worthy. I personally attracted true love at a time in my life where I was kind of a mess and I didn't really know what I was doing and I was kind of depressed and it was the most random time in my life to attract true love. I definitely didn't have it all figured out. And I've known many people in that situation where they didn't have their life figured out. They weren't like perfectly spiritually ascended or whatever. They weren't like having everything figured out in their life, and they still attracted true love. So you're already worthy of true love. You are love embodied in like a physical form. Like all is love. Love is all around you. So you're already worthy. That's the first point, is recognizing that. When you recognize that you're worthy and you tap into your true worthiness and you act that out, that puts out a really strong vibration that attracts love to you. When you're connecting with someone that's a true love, I'm going to say that, I love that verse in the Bible that's like, love is patient, love is kind. I love that so much. I think that when we're looking into true love here, we're looking at somebody who respects you, somebody who supports you, somebody who treats you right. We're not necessarily looking for perfection, but this is definitely not like a toxic energy. True love is beautiful, is uplifting, is kind, is patient. True love is an energy of something that just feels right to you. Very romantic, very passionate, somebody that you can trust. So the best way to attract that love is to tap into that side of yourself that feels worthiness. So I think all of us, we can all be our own biggest inner critic. We can be so critical of ourselves, whether it's our physical appearance. Like I even look in the mirror sometimes and I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's a pimple and what's going on with this? And or I feel ugly today, or I feel fat today, or whatever. Like that's totally normal. And I think, it takes some work to be able to look in the mirror and be kind to yourself and say like, wow, it's another day, like I'm beautiful, I'm so thankful to be here on this planet and have this opportunity to have all these experiences, and I love my body and I'm so thankful that I have this vessel. And that takes work, that takes affirmations, that takes really spending time feeling comfortable in your body, treating yourself nicely. And then on the inside, just feeling like you're a good person. I think sometimes some of us can get that like imposter syndrome thing where we kind of feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I did something bad and now like I'm the worst person ever. And so really presence kind of helps you tap into your worthiness, just not thinking about the past as much and just seeing yourself in the moment and tapping into your presence. It's one thing to just be like, yeah, I'm worthy. And then another thing to really act that energy out. So to take the action of worthiness, to tap into the fact that you're already worthy, I really see self-love as meeting your needs and following your dreams, to show self-love to yourself, to act out your worthiness. Let's start with meeting your needs, you know? So physically, take good care of yourself, whatever that means for you. You know, do skincare. I'm all about skincare, you guys know that. Do skincare, wash your hair, have good hygiene, whatever that means for you. Dress yourself in colors and in clothing that feel respectful to you and to your body and that make you feel good. You know, whatever situation you're in, that's definitely something that you can do. You know, find a way to show your worthiness. If you need to rest, rest. If you need to have extra sleep, sleep. If you feel like taking action and moving forward, then do that. Like listening to your intuition, giving yourself a chance to follow your dreams and work on your goals is something that helps you to feel worthy as well. So it has a lot to do with the actions that you take. And sometimes if you're not feeling very worthy, taking action in the direction of worthiness and self-love can help. So that's self-care, and that's thinking about like, what are my goals and what are my dreams, and like giving yourself a chance to just take little steps towards that or make a vision board and follow that. So present yourself as worthy, you know, because if you're going out there in the world and you're not taking very good care of yourself, and like your hair is a mess and you didn't wash your face and you're just wearing clothes that haven't been washed and you're just like, oh, I'm poor and I'm ugly and it doesn't matter and I don't have time, and you're all stressed out and stuff, like you put off that energy and it's going to be hard to attract true love. It's going to be hard to attract someone who sees in you what you can't even see in yourself. So that's another thing. When looking for love, don't look for someone to bring you love if you don't have any for yourself. Don't look for someone to come and fix you and make you feel better. Do that for yourself. Like feel better for yourself. Like love yourself. And so that's really important. Tapping into your worthiness. And, you know, maybe you can start with some work inside. Like something I would recommend is keeping a journal, like a gratitude journal or a journal of things you love about yourself. It can just be a cute little notebook, and once a day you can just write one thing that you admire about yourself or one thing that you like about yourself. And some people would say, oh, that's being conceited or that's being narcissistic, but it's up to you to build up your confidence and build up your self-esteem. It doesn't matter if everyone in the world is telling you how amazing you are and how good you are and how beautiful you are. Like, you won't believe it unless it comes from the inside out. That's why you hear stories of like celebrities who are very depressed, or, you know, they could be so talented and incredible and attractive and they don't believe it because they haven't done that work for themselves. So it truly comes from the inside out. Don't look outside for that validation. Look inside, and that takes work. For me, some things I've done, and look, I'm a work in progress. I'm still working on it, but affirmations I've definitely worked on. Mantras. I've even gone over to Jason Stevenson's channel. He has these affirmations called I Am Beautiful, and I'm hoping to put some affirmations on my channel, maybe similar, but I've done those affirmations. Like for years would do yoga and listen to those affirmations because I was just at a time in my life where I felt really broken down and I just didn't feel beautiful. And like part of that was because like how I was raised and like abusive relationships that I was in the past. So if you're coming from a past where you were really put down by your family or your community or by like an ex-lover or like an old friend who was like a bully, it's gonna be a little bit harder, but it's definitely up to you to kind of reprogram your mind. And so, you know, we're taking on all of this programming from society. You know, in the media, it tells you need to look this way and be like this or else you're not worthy. And so that can be kind of subconsciously ingrained in us. So taking matters into your own hand and doing some affirmations, like keeping a little journal of things you like about yourself, or just things about your soul. And you can write things about your parents, but definitely write things about your soul. Like, I'm a kind person, like I'm generous, I love to laugh, and just like writing down little things like that can definitely help you. And taking good care of your body. Something else that's gonna help you guys is exercise and healthy eating. You don't have to be the healthiest person in the world. And it's not even necessarily about aesthetics. It's just do a little bit, you know, go on a walk, make sure you eat a salad if all you've eaten all day is just like carbohydrates and sugar. Like really work on like what you're putting into your body and how you're fueling yourself too, because what you put into your body, like garbage in, garbage out, you know. That's why sometimes people say you are what you eat. I'm donuts. I'm just kidding. No, I'm salad. I'm definitely salad, you guys. I'm apple cider vinegar. I'm chia seeds. So put some healthy food into your body. And just, if you're struggling with food and what you're eating, don't worry about taking anything away from the diet. Just add more healthy food, and you'll start craving more of those foods. And like, you put a lot of healthy food in, and you're not going to have a lot of room for like the crap, you know? So eat healthier foods and exercise however you can. Everybody's body is different. You know, some people like to do dancing, some people like jogging, some people like going to the gym, whatever works for you. I personally love online workouts. I love doing yoga with Adriene, and I love Fitness Blender. Those are my 2 favorite YouTube channels for workouts, just in case you guys are wondering. But find what works for you, and just a little bit every day. These changes that happen in your mind and in your body are not going to happen overnight. So, you know, it's not about perfection. You're already worthy. Settle into that energy, work on that energy, but you're already worthy the way that you are. Just tap into that energy. So, point number 2 is like attracts like, okay? So whatever you put out into this world, you're going to get back. So to a certain extent, there's some things just happen. Sometimes you start dating someone and you realize, wow, this person's awful. It doesn't necessarily mean you attracted it. Sometimes things just happen. But when you're really trying to attract true love and you really want to like work on this energy, you have to think about, what is the energy of love? What does that feel like to you? And I think that this is personal to everyone, but generally when I think of love, I think it's something that's very uplifting, very exciting, very adventurous, very spontaneous, blissful, youthful. Those are some words and some energies that come to mind when I think about love. So if we want to attract love, we want to create that type of energy around us more often. Now, this doesn't mean to ignore your emotions. And if you're sad one day or depressed, or you've experienced some type of loss, or like your pet died or something, and you're like, oh no, I'm trying to manifest true love. I need to be happy and excited and adventurous. No, like cry, take some time to grieve, like allow yourself to heal, you know, be natural with your emotions. But if you're feeling pretty good and like you've got a little bit of time and you're really wanting to focus on this, then to do activities that are adventurous for you. Take up a new hobby like skiing or swimming, or going on nature walks, or trying painting, or whatever, like something that feels exciting and adventurous and a little fun or risky or challenging to you. Doing things like that will help, you know. It could be helpful to write down a list of things that make you happy, activities that bring you happiness and well-being, and that put that smile on your face or make you feel excited. For me, that would definitely be painting, doing makeup. I love makeup. I love making art. Tarot, you guys know I love tarot. That makes me excited. I love doing talks like this. I feel so uplifted right now. I love traveling. I like going to the grocery store. Does anyone else love that? And just like planning out healthy meals. I love watching sunsets. I could go on and on. There's so many things that I love doing. And, you know, making a list of that and picking one thing on that list to do every day. It could be something small like taking a bath or reading a chapter out of a book that's interesting to you. I love watching period dramas. That's been my thing lately. I'm like a huge Jane Austen fan. I'm all into that stuff. I'm really fascinated by the past and all the costumes and everything, the way society was back then. So that makes me happy. Even if I've had a long day, maybe I'll watch like a little bit of a period drama or something, or I'll read like a book like that. Like whatever it is that makes you happy and is interesting and fun to you, like surround yourself with that energy. And you know what? That will also help with your worthiness, because when you are tapping into worthiness, you realize like, I'm worthy to have fun. I'm worthy to be happy. I'm worthy to put a little bit of play into my day. I think as adults, we forget how important it is to just play. So the path of your inner child, asking your inner child what it wants and what it needs, like attending to that, can also help bring true love to you. So like attracts like, okay? Number 3 is all about the mirror effect, which is very similar, basically working on you and self-love. So we talked a little bit about self-love with the whole worthiness thing. We talked a little bit about how like attracts like. But this is talking more about your energy and your vibration. I don't believe that just because you like went through some type of trauma or you're depressed that you're gonna attract like a person who's like super like stressed and depressed and like that kind of stuff. But basically like your vibration and your energy is like your set point, and you become a vibrational match to anyone else who is on the same frequency as you. So if you're in a really, really dark place and you're like hating on yourself and you're self-loathing and like you're miserable and like you hate life and like, hey, it happens. I've been there, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just part of the process. But if you're in that energy, you're not really working on it and you're spiraling downward, and then you go out in the world and you try to attract love, not always, but very often you can attract someone on that same vibe, okay? And so that's happened to me. I remember in the past, like I was, like 21, 22. I was like drinking a lot, and I was like just getting into the wrong crowd, and I wasn't happy with my job, and I just wasn't manifesting things that felt right to me in my life, and I wasn't very self-aware. I was young, you know, and I went out and I just kept attracting like fling after fling, and like people that would ghost me, and people that would take advantage of me, people that were mean to me or backstabbed me or cheated on me. And I don't think that that's my fault, okay? I do think, however, that I was accepting that type of energy in my life because of like how I felt. And part of it was I just didn't know any better. And part of it was also that like that's just the vibe I was in. That was just the crowd I was hanging out with. That was just the place I was at in my life. I still think it's possible to be in that place and meet a soulmate. Like sometimes someone just comes into your life and is beautiful and amazing, and like through that love, like you grow and you learn and you change, and there's miracles, you know? And I also think that there's a difference between sometimes you just end up with an abusive person or a toxic person. I don't think that's your fault at all. I think sometimes people can just dupe you, and people can just be horrible, and like you don't see it and it's not your fault, you know? So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, those types of situations. But, you know, to a certain extent, in some situation, once again, not always, don't go cray on me in the comments, sometimes when you're in a bad vibe, in a bad place, not making the right decisions, and like not caring for yourself, and just, you know, you're acting toxic or surrounding yourself with toxic energy, sometimes you can keep attracting stuff like that. You know what I mean? Especially if you say yes to that and you engage with that, and like you're aware of that, and like you're choosing that, you know. I'm not talking about situations where you're just not conscious of it and someone's taking advantage. I'm talking about like really just going for it and just, you know, going for that. So basically that has a little bit to do with like the mirror effect. Okay, so when you are working on self-love, okay, and when you're working on yourself and you're making choices that feel best for you, and you're treating yourself right, and you're treating your body right, then, and you're working on your energetic frequency by, you know, taking good care of yourself, you know, choosing like a job and a situation in your life that feels good for you, working on your goals and your dreams, you know, exercising, cutting out toxic connections, and just making friends with people that truly support you, being a good friend to other people, not engaging in a lot of gossip, or, you know, working on healing addictions in your life. And like, you're just like, when you're on the up and up in your life and your frequency is rising, you are going to attract a higher love. You're going to attract someone that's like on that level. You know, you will attract someone who's like kind of similar to what you want. That's a really great way to attract a soulmate. So I always tell people, like, when you become in alignment with your goals and your dreams and the things that are meant for you, and like with your truth, you know, when you're saying no to anything that isn't your truth, when you're saying no to things that don't feel right, and you're saying yes to your happiness, you're saying yes to choices that feel great for you, when you're just saying yes to the things that resonate the most with you to the best of your ability. It's not about perfection. Like, usually then you'll attract a soulmate, you know? So I see a lot of times people who are like, you know what, this life isn't for me. They kind of have a crossroads, or they have like a quarter life crisis or midlife crisis, or kind of like a breakdown, and they just like kind of just release things, and they like, I'm gonna go to school for this, or I'm gonna try this job, or I'm gonna start this side hustle, or I'm gonna move to this place, or I'm gonna make this change in my life. Like, a lot of times during that process, I see so many people uniting with soulmates or twin flame or true love. And so it's interesting. I think manifesting true love has a lot to do with alignment, okay? But once again, there's always the exception to the rule. I've seen people attract true love, once again, when they don't know what they want. Maybe when they are in a downward spiral, or maybe when things in life are just unclear to them. It can happen, you know? But this is just some tips, you know? So the next point has to do with divine timing. We were just kind of touching on that. Basically accepting divine timing. You could be doing like all the right things, or you could be really tapped into your worthiness and you're just single for years. And so I talk to a lot of people who are really frustrated. They're like, you know, Rainbow, I've healed from this thing that happened in my life. I'm like doing this, and I'm studying, or like I'm in work, and like I have a really good foundation, and like I have these hobbies, and I'm like happy, and like I feel great, and like I'm tapped into my worthiness, like I've done all the things, and like, you know, life still happens. Sometimes I'm still a little depressed, whatever, like, but I feel like I'm on top of it, and it's been years and I'm still single, or I've never had a relationship, or it's been my whole life. Accepting divine timing is part of manifesting true love, okay? So accepting divine timing. Sometimes love isn't meant to come in your life until a certain point. So the best thing I can say in that situation is just keep working on yourself, live your life, and love often comes when you least expect it. So love often can come when you least expect it. So not beating yourself up and thinking like something's wrong with you if it's been years. You never know. There could be like a certain series of events that specific person who's meant to come to you needs to go through before they can meet you. Maybe you're ready, you're aligned, you're all down for it, and it's just that other person that needs a little bit more time. Maybe there's some big opportunity coming to your path that you need like full attention for, and that's why there's no soulmate coming in. And you know, so I always tell people, focus on what's in front of you. There's nothing wrong with feeling sad and like lonely and like really wishing that you had true love, and like thinking about that, and you know, being present with that side of yourself. I think we all want love. It's one of the most amazing parts of being here on this earth. But if you let that take away from the opportunity that you have now, then that's not a good thing, you know? So focus on what's in front of you, fulfill yourself, and realize that when that true love does come and when you connect with that person, it will be absolutely amazing. But there's always gonna be that like little void in you, and that's the place where your self-love and your self-acceptance needs to go. So not looking at love to complete you or to bring you anything that's like missing. True love just complements you and puts the cherry on top to your already incredible life, okay? So basically just, you know, accepting divine timing, being in that divine feminine energy of accepting, trust, patience, and receptivity, okay? is also going to help. Divine timing. Okay, so number 5, the last point, basically has to do with standards. Okay, so this includes basically saying no to anything doesn't feel right. In order to attract true love, you need to create space for that in your life, okay? So sometimes I talk to people, and I've even been through this in my life, where it's like you want to attract true love, you want a commitment, you want a soulmate, or you want to get married, or you want to have a long-term relationship, but that hasn't come yet and you're lonely. And so there could be somebody in your life who is like an ex, or somebody you met on Tinder or whatever, someone that you're not super attracted to, or someone that you know isn't really that long-term potential, but because you're lonely, you're spending time with them, you're dating them, you're flirting with them, you're hooking up with them, you're kind of in like a undefined relationship with them, or you're just kind of biding your time and kind of like waiting for that person, but like still afraid to be alone. So you basically have an entanglement or an enmeshment with another person. Sometimes in order to attract true love, you need to be completely alone. Like you need to cut off those ties. You need to cut off those types of relationships and be willing to face being alone. And so I was like that in my past. Like I remember, this is like when I was younger, I think everyone does this. I think there's a difference between like dating and then like kind of just playing around and hooking up with people and just being afraid to be alone. Like if you're one of those people that always has to have people lined up and on the shelf and like always talking to lots of people and always flirting with someone, but like kind of just being indecisive and just, you know, playing with the wrong type of people, and you'll know in your heart if that's the situation, then that does block you to true love. So for me in the past, in order to attract true love, I had to cut off connections like that. I had to cut off people that I was like kind of friends with, but we were flirty. I had to cut out people that weren't willing to make a commitment to me. I don't think this is necessary. Like if you don't care and you're just like having fun and you're just dating around and you're just exploring and like you're a free spirit and you don't really care about commitment or like finding that soulmate true love, then don't worry about that. But if you like are looking for a commitment, I think that's what we're thinking about when we're thinking about true love connection. You're looking for a commitment, then you need to commit to yourself and what your true self really wants. And what you say yes to is really important in your life. If you say yes to people that are being indecisive with you, or that aren't willing to make a commitment to you, or like are kind of ghosting you, or are hot and cold with you, or in and out, or you say yes to being on and off with the ex, or you say yes to just like casually hooking up with this person and then like flirting with that person and then kind of talking to this person at work, and like, and your energy's being scattered all over the place and like nothing's happening, and you know that none of these people are really like your real MVP, that's gonna scatter your energy and make it difficult for love to kind of find you. So the thing is this also has to do with when you recognize something's off with somebody. Sometimes when we're lonely, we can feel a little desperate. And this has happened to me. I've like connected with people that were kind of crazy or kind of trash in the past, you know, and I've realized it, but I've been like, oh, but I'm lonely, and maybe like they're like, I heard things about them and then they turned out to be true, and I was like, I don't know. Basically, if you know in your heart there's something off with someone, or they've treated you badly in the past, or that they're like, you know, abusing you or being toxic, or just something feels off, I know it can be really difficult sometimes, but saying no to that and getting yourself out of that situation, blocking that person, being strong if they're trying to come back in your life. Like, I know everyone's situation's different and it's complicated, but basically by saying no to that and taking steps to move forward, then you free up your energy. So sometimes with some people, you just need to bow to their path and move on, you know? Sometimes you don't recognize that someone's not right for you, or that someone's toxic, or that someone's abusive, or that someone is inconsistent. Sometimes you don't recognize that right away, so that's like not on you. But as soon as you recognize it, it's time to bow to their path and move on. I think some people stay in relationships that don't feel right to them, or that don't feel like their true love, that feel more karmic, because sometimes it's scary to be alone. Sometimes yeah, it can be scary. Maybe you haven't had love in your life for so long, and this person is like there, and like they're kind of into you, but they don't want to commit, or like there's some red flags, and we'll just go for it because we're lonely, or we like the excitement of it, or we want to cling to that because once again we're lonely. So this is basically just saying no to anything that doesn't feel right, having high standards, not being afraid to have high standards. This goes as well when you don't feel attracted to somebody. If you feel like you have to try, if you feel like, you know, you're not physically attracted, or you don't feel chemistry, you know, don't feel like you have to settle. You know, don't feel like you know, give people a chance, you know, give someone a chance if they're into you and you kind of feel like a vibe about it, and like, oh, maybe, you know, sometimes it can take a little while to really like get to know someone. But if you just know in your heart this ain't it, then, you know, don't worry about hurting people's feelings or anything. Just think about your feelings. You know, you can politely bow to that person's path and move on. Okay, so these are my tips about finding true love and attracting true love. I have so much more to say about this topic, so maybe in the future I'll like break it down even more. We'll do longer videos on this, but I'm really interested to know your thoughts. Okay, if you're gonna play devil's advocate to any of my points, or like go off in the comments below and start some kind of crazy debate, this is not the channel for that. This is my channel, just talking about what I think. So, you know, be nice in the comments below. I'm just gonna say that because I know sometimes talking about love can be a little controversial, but if you have something you want to add, or you agree with any of these things, or you have any experiences that you want to share, then definitely feel free to do so. And I want to thank you guys so much for coming to my channel. Let me know what you think about this. Should I make more videos on how to find true love? Should I make more videos on like how to manifest certain things into your life? That could be fun, so let me know what you think, and I will see you soon. Peace out.